the thing about people today, like young people today that don't know like how revolutionary Pulp Fiction was when it came out.
Yeah.
When it came out, it was like such a different kind of feeling that you got after you saw the movie. There's so many what the fuck scenes that you left that theater like, Jesus Christ. It's like the world was different. The world was different. Quentin Tarantino changed the world with Pulp Fiction. That's how profound it was.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. It changed what was possible in film after that.
No, I was there during it. I remember the studios were just like, we don't understand why this movie's a big hit. We don't have anything like this coming out except your movie, Desperado, maybe, because Quentin was in it. And I was like, yeah, we got our pulse on what people want. It was like, we don't know. So I got to tell you really two things. First of all, George Lucas told me that. And he's like, I showed him the Sin City thing because we'd both been early adopters of digital, and DPs, directors of photography, didn't want to even look at digital. They were like, fuck that. They'd already spent all their time learning film, which by sticking your head in the sand and not seeing where the times are going to the detriment. Now the cameras are designed and they don't look as good as they could look. Yeah. But they weren't a part of the conversation. Where I was shooting my own movies, I wasn't going to let some DP who didn't want to get in digital keep me from making Sin City. So I just shot it myself. I figured it out myself. So I showed it to Lucas. He was like, this movie will show people what digital's capable of, finally, more than the Star Wars movies I'm doing, because it's just so avant-garde and so crazy looking. But I only made it for me. I really wanted to see it made. I literally didn't think it would be successful on its theatrical run. In fact, we didn't even test screen it. They're like, can we do a test screen? I'm like, no, why? What for? Everybody's going to say it's black and white. Why is it black and white? Why are there 3 stories? That's all wrong. It's voiceover. It's all voiceover. That's all wrong. We know it's that way. Why would we go here? People tell us that that's not what a movie's supposed to be. Let's just put it out. I figure it won't do well theatrically because you see the first trailer and go, okay, black and white, it's not for me. It's very counterintuitive, which is most of the things I do, just like always go a different way. But they'll find it on video later, and that's good enough for me. But then it was a big hit theatrically. Now, let me tell you about Pulp Fiction, because groundbreaking doesn't look groundbreaking to you or anyone around you necessarily when you're doing it. I'd forgotten about this, but I journal, and I ran across an old journal, and I brought it up to Quentin when I interviewed him for my Director's Chair episode. I have a show called The Director's Chair, where I interview writer directors. His was so big, we did 2 episodes. We talked about all his movies. And I said, do you remember this time I found in my diary, right down to the hour, we went out to dinner. I mean, he was so into Pulp Fiction. Ever since I met him, my next movie's going to be Pulp Fiction. I visited the set. He was into it. He finished the movie, and I said, hey, because I live here in Austin, I don't get to hang out with him except when I go to LA. How did your movie come out? And he goes, yeah, it's not the one. It's like, it still feels like a movie Quentin would make. I'd be like, what do you mean? It's like, it just doesn't feel like a real movie. It feels like another movie Quentin would make. And I was trying to be the supportive friend because I knew how much he put in. Well, it should be different. He's like, man, I just wouldn't have it. It was like 2 a.m. I was dropping him off at home after we'd been out. And so I went back to Austin, and he had a screening for all his director friends that I couldn't be at because I lived in Austin. So I called one of them, said, how was the screening? He was a little bummed about it. He goes, nah, this isn't the one for him. And I was like, really? So, yeah, it's just it's just not it. And I asked him this, and he goes, you're right. He'd forgotten about that moment. He goes, in fact, yeah, people didn't get it. And in fact, and he didn't get it either. He wasn't sure if it was it. In fact, one filmmaker even said, I want to sit you down and tell you all the things that are wrong with this movie, but I'll wait till you get back from Cannes. He goes to Cannes, he wins Cannes, and the friend left him a message there. Well, what the hell do I know? I've only made 1 movie. Everyone's mind was changed. So he was surprised by it too. So I just want people to hear that, because you're making something groundbreaking. It's not like you're going, I'm making something groundbreaking. You don't know that it's going to do that. Sometimes things overperform. That's why if you just commit to a body of work, you're not going to know which one's going to be your Pulp Fiction, which one's going to be your 4 Rooms, And if you just do that, because I saw a lot of people get hurt, like John Carpenter made The Thing. He thought he made a great movie. He thought he made an amazing movie. Bombs. Critics called it pornography at the time, if you remember, like the makeup effects of it. Audiences didn't go. It came out the same weekend, unfortunately, as E.T., right?
Why do they call it pornography?
Just because it was just so self-indulgent and gross and nasty. I mean, they really like reamed him to the point.
So the special effects?
Yeah, the special effects are really crazy. Yeah.
Really?
If you don't remember the time, it was really like that. There was repulsion towards this movie.
Wow.
I know you don't think that now because
No.
10 years later,
I
and
thought
it
it was
took
a
10
hit.
years. No, it was not. It was
Wow.
not. 10 years later, it was suddenly considered a classic. Now, if he had committed to a body of work, he would have just let that roll off his shoulders and just don't blink. But it really fucks you up if you think, my instincts must be off.
Well,
I thought I
also,
made a great movie.
it's
and
a great fucking movie.
It's a great fucking movie, but if no one else is saying that. So I asked Quentin, George Lucas had the same thing. He showed famously Star Wars to all his director friends. And they're all like, poor George, just wasted all his time on this movie. And Spielberg was the only one who was like, it's naive. It'll do good. And so I asked Quentin, was there anybody in that director's group? And he goes, yes, there was one. Catherine Bigelow. She was the one who was championed and said, this is something new and different. No one else was saying that. But that's pretty amazing, right?
That's super amazing.
It's really, and I would have forgotten it if I had not written it down. So
There's a lot of films that slip through the cracks
Yeah.
for whatever reason,
And
or they
it's
don't
for
get
whatever
received.
reason.
You know what I saw recently that I fucking loved? The Monkey. Did you
The
see
monkey,
The Monkey?
yeah.
It's a Stephen King book that, or maybe it might have been a short story.
Yeah.
It was
It was a short story in one of his,
that was adapted.
Skeleton Crew
It's
or something.
fucking fun, man. I watched with my youngest daughter. Loves horror movies. We watch a lot of horror movies together, and we were, looking for something the other night, and we were like, all right, let's take a chance on this. Had no idea what it was. Watched the trailer. I'm like, are you in? She's like, okay, this is good. And so it's fucking chaos. It's such a chaotic, insane, hyper violent movie.
Right.
But funny and just kind of scary. It was really good, man. It was fun. It was like a classic. What I really love about the early Stephen King work, like his early work, was like
Here's one that fell through the cracks. And I was there at Sony when we were doing Mariachi and Desperado when this movie came out. I remember the marketing team said, we have a really great movie. Unfortunately, no one's going to see it because of the title. So what is it called? He goes, Shawshank Redemption.
oh my god,
And it bombed.
what?
Oh, Shawshank Redemption bombed.
What?
It was a bomb.
How?
Nobody went to see it. It's called Shawshank Redemption. And what the hell is it? Guy's in prison? Nobody went to see it. And this was Sony marketing. They just couldn't get anybody to go see it.
Wow.
But history gets rewritten. Now, again, you can be Frank Darabont and be like really down. But fortunately, he didn't have to wait 10 years. As soon as it got to video, it became a phenomenon on video. And now it's considered, if you go on IMDb, it's always neck and neck with The Godfather as the best movie of all time.
Wow.
That is a movie nobody saw. So again, look, don't blink. Commit to a body of work. You may make a classic. It might be the thing, and you're not going to hear about that for 10 years. Just keep going. Don't let
incredible.
it make you question your instincts, because your instincts.
I would have never guessed Shawshank was a failure.
There's a lot of movies that are like
Incredible.